The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning if you're on the West Coast. This is Josh LeMaster. I'm one of the co-founders and chief financial officer of Perfect Golf Event. I appreciate everybody taking some time. This is our first webinar of 2026 on this topic of weather insurance. I'm going to introduce in a moment Eric Anderson with Vortex Weather Insurance, who will take you through a little bit of a presentation. But before I do that, I wanted to put a little bit into context, why, we, Perfect Golf Event, are involved and have been working with Vortex for several years now. We work with thousands of events and we have worked over the years with tens of thousands of events. And we're just always looking for ways that those events can reduce their risk. A lot of times these are fundraising events and you count on it for, a fair amount of the fundraising income. So, it's sad to see something like weather or rain specifically get in the middle of that. And so even if you've taken the proactive steps of scheduling a rain date and doing the other things that you do to protect yourself, we saw that the product offered by Vortex just really is a smart way to protect from rain. And Eric will tell you more about that. But as we learned about it, it just made sense for so many of our events. We wanted to, align ourselves closely with Vortex. So to that point, starting last year, we began to at least put a small amount of rain coverage in every one of our upgraded software packages. A lot of you on the call today are already with Perfect Golf Event. So if you, last year it was Eagle and Up, this year we included Birdie packages. So if you're in a Birdie package or up, you're getting some level of Vortex insurance, but I doubt that coverage is enough to really cover your risk there. So Eric will talk more about that. So I'm going to step aside here in a second, let Eric take over. But everything you see and hear is getting recorded. You'll get a video, link to a YouTube video after that has everything that you're seeing on the screen as well as everything you're hearing. And we'll also include a PDF that you can share with others in your group or in your committees. And of course, it'll have all the contact information you need for me or for Erica. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you had a question that maybe you like our Perfect Golf Events perspective on it. So all that said, let me let Eric take over. I'll jump on chat with everybody. So I'll be watching if you have a question. And other than that, let me introduce Eric with Vortex Weather Insurance.
Josh, thank you very much, and good afternoon or good morning. As Josh said to everyone on the call, we've got a large group today around the country for the first webinar of 2026. Thank you. Welcome. As Josh said, we're going to walk through the product in about 20 minutes, followed with a little Q&A. But throughout the presentation, whether you're a first-time organizer or you've been doing this for 5, 10, 20 years, think about the potential, or if you've experienced rain, and how it can overall potentially hurt your event and your targeted revenue numbers. A couple good points to think about when you're first introduced to weather insurance is that you don't have to get rained out to collect. You're buying a block of time and an inch threshold. This is an index-based product. This is not indemnity, and I'll go through that. But so when you think about those kinds of things and the types of numbers you're trying to achieve and the kind of event that you're running, it's important to understand how the product works, and I'll share this with everyone. But think about the questions you might have, save them till the end, and then Josh is going to send everyone this recording, the deck, and then I'd like to speak with everyone, either through email or text or call, and so I can just price up your event and show you how it works, the kinds of premiums that you would potentially pay to protect your day. And then, I can go in more detail if you'd like to have a phone call. So I look forward to meeting everyone. Like I said, we've got a very large group, very excited. Thank you for joining us. So to get started, we'd like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. There's a myth out there that insurance agencies don't know weather, and it turns out we are a bunch of weather nerds within the company. We're proud of that. Our team has over 100 years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry, and we've been helping protect events since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about us. Vortex is a subsidiary of MSI Guaranteed Weather, which has been in the weather risk management industry for more than a quarter century. And since 2008, the Vortex weather insurance arm has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events, fairs, festivals, concerts, obviously golf tournaments, but amphitheaters, lacrosse tournaments, zoos, weddings, you name it. And then in 2019, Vortex, they hired me to consult, and I'll get into that in a second, but we started offering our product to golf properties and events at the properties across the country. A question where I'm asked every single day, who's the Vortex's insurance carrier? That's our owner, Mitsui Sumitomo, and we are rated A+ best. Here's a picture of me. Nice to meet you. I am the National Director of Sales. I've been a weather derivatives broker for over 20 years. I played golf professionally. I've been in the golf space a very long time. I worked at Augusta National. I used to play. I played in tons of tournaments, all kinds, professional, amateur, fundraisers, you name it. And I've also run tournaments. So I know what you're going through when we start talking about the types of costs or expected revenue numbers, the floating revenue numbers. All the events are run differently, and I understand how they work. So I can help you go line by line if you like to go there. If you just say, hey, Eric, I need X amount protected, we can do that too. So there's a myth out there in the golf business that you can't fight Mother Nature, and we say not so fast. You can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators and event organizers are using rain insurance as a risk management hedge. So as a hedge, you want to think about, okay, the anticipated heavy play periods of your tournament, if it's a multi-day tournament. Just so everybody understands, we can do seasonal, yearly, monthly hedges, obviously Monday, Thursday, any types of golf outings through the week, holiday weekends such as July 4th, Firecracker weekend, multi-day events. I write for 4th of July at country clubs, Memorial Day kickoff, holidays throughout the entire season, and then members, member guests, etc. And then you want to think about, okay, what's at risk during your events of the tournaments, whether it's a Pro-Am, larger scale I write for the Tour and Champions Tour, member guests, the corporate outings, the expected revenue numbers, what goes into those equations? Obviously food and bev, on course, the cannon shooting, the raffle, all the fun things that go into the day to raise money for your charity, memorial event, etc. So this is important to understand. So rain insurance versus property and casualty insurance. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C events like auto, fire, etc. So here's the chance of a potential insurance claim on a single day over a 20-year period. Very low for car and home insurance. But as you look at this next slide, as a comparison, here's the chance of 1/4 of an inch of rain falling on any single day. And this is just between June and August. So you look at those numbers compared to the other P&C numbers. And that's not even talking about, the months prior or after the shoulder months. So it's important to really understand, the significant rain risk for your events. So there's another myth here. Rain insurance is complex, and the good news is Vortex makes it very simple. And this is how it works. So rain insurance is parametric. What does that word mean? Rain insurance is triggered simply if the recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Okay, so if you buy 1/4 of an inch from a shotgun, 12 to 5, it doesn't matter when the rain comes, as long as it accumulates, hits 0.25 or higher, you're paid. Proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger and pay a claim. Very important to understand. So when I talk to event organizers and they say, Eric, we've never been rained out, that's okay, that's good. But have you ever experienced rain? Actually, we have, yes. So you want to think about the types of rains, whether it's a little bit, a medium amount, or a lot, that can hurt your overall targeted numbers. So if you have a 1/4 of an inch of rain where all of a sudden 20 or 30% of your field leaves, they don't stay for the lunch or dinner and then spend more money, what's it worth to have a protection, a policy in place to make up for that potential loss? So also I'm asked this every day, how fast do we get the money if there's a triggering, and it's basically we try to get it out in under 2 weeks. This is not indemnity where you're gonna have to fight an adjuster 6, 9 months, a year sometimes. If the amount is triggered, we send you an expiration report and a check is in the mail. And once you get the money, you can do whatever you want with it. So you can pay, $5,000 to the caterer, $10,000 to the golf club, maybe some to your sponsors, etc. Okay, so again, how does rain insurance works? How does it work? So Vortex uses WeatherWorks as a claim determination system. So there's a blend of different radar technologies at your address, at your location. So it's not taken at, say, 5 or 10 miles away. So we're eliminating the basis risk in the reading. The rain insurance, we provide recorded hourly precipitation measurements as little as 0.01, triggering rainfall thresholds as low as 0.01 as well. And then you want to think about the policy options. We have our standard style of, say, an inch threshold. We've got ladder insurance where the more that it rains, the more that you're paid out. And then we've got an escalator product as well that pays out every 0.01. And I'll explain that as we get on a call and I price up your event. But I could do extended hours. So I did a policy up in Long Island where they had the golf course for the day. The shotgun started at 9. They said, Eric, what happens if it rains all night? And then at 9, the golf course, it's a beautiful day, but the golf course is unplayable. I said, you're not covered. So we got really creative, and the customer ended up buying a policy from midnight until 9 with a very high, like, washout threshold. And then he bought a very low threshold from 9 until 3. So he bought 2 policies. Very smart. He spent a little bit more on the premium, but he covered himself for the entire day. So we can do extended hours and then obviously shotgun coverage. I always tell customers to buy on the front end rather than the back end, because if customers are playing golf at your outing and they're through, say, 15 or 16 holes, they're usually going to go inside, have the lunch or dinner, have a bunch of cocktails hopefully, and spend some money, and that goes towards your charity. Okay, the parametric options that go into the equation of cost in your day. And I'll walk you through this when I get to meet everyone. So the hours of coverage, where is it most important to buy the hours of your event? Like I said a couple before, sometimes people might have a gala where people are coming afterwards, and part of the gala's, or the party's outside where they're going to raise money. So they want to buy a few more hours into the evening. That's okay. You tell us the hours and the amount that you want to cover, and I'll price it up and send you a quote. The rain thresholds, we can quote pretty much anything going up through about an inch, inch and a 1/4. The insurance limits, they can vary by day. Sometimes there's multi-day events, some 2 or 3 day events that change in hours and amounts, especially amateur tours, professional tours, those kinds of things. So we can customize it to your event. So the hourly data, the use of hourly data allows us to concentrate only on the hours when rainfall could negatively impact business operations. As I said, eliminating hours in a day when revenue figures are not sensitive helps reduce the cost. So if you need it to save a little bit of money, and I work with groups with budgets, I understand sometimes you have to wait and you only have a certain amount. I'll never ask a customer for an amount they want to spend. What I try to do is help you understand your day, what's at risk, the hours that you want to look at, and then I'll price up very low thresholds, which will be more expensive, and to very high thresholds that'll be less expensive because of probability. And then I'll walk you through what I think is smart, depending on the type of event you're having, and I'll let you decide. Here's a grid. Sometimes customers say, can I look at the historical data of the last 5 years? An example here in Ponte Vedra Beach, where Josh and I reside, at TPC. Obviously in the summer, you can see that it rains more in the afternoon than it does in the morning time. So those policies are more expensive than the morning because of probability. So here's a myth. Rain insurance is too expensive. And in reality, our team works for you to create a policy that fits your needs and budget. So rain insurance is priced using historical probabilities. We look at several years going back, right? And then we look at your location. Winter here in Florida, where we are, is different, less expensive than it is in the summer, obviously because of probability. Seasonality, the time of day, like I just mentioned, obviously more hours, more expensive than shorter hours. The amount insured, and then I can get really creative as far as providing deductibles if you have several days in your event, and we can talk about that when I get to know everyone when we get together on the call. So here's a sample quote. In the event, this is wintertime, just on a 5-hour policy here a few years back. Actually, this one's in Palm Beach Gardens. In this example, if you were to buy option A, $420, that's 1/5 of an inch to cover 10,000. That means that if the rain comes and totals 0.20 in the hours between 10 and 3, you're getting paid $10,000 in less than 2 weeks. Here is our ladder style. This is in Ponte Vedra, a policy that had more limit, but in the event that it rained through 0.20 and did not touch 0.33, you get 10% of the limit. You'd get $15,000. This is step insurance or ladder insurance. If it were to rain through 0.33 and not touch 0.5, you would get $15,000 plus $45,000. Then obviously, if it were to rain through 0.50, you get the full $150,000. That's the premium in the winter in Ponte Vedra. And then here's a 3-day member guest, different days in the fall, different amounts, same threshold. So one day is independent of the other. Sometimes people will have a fundraiser the night before an event. They have a tent. Maybe they'll hedge part of their risk, and they'll set up 2 different policies. Again, I can get really creative to help you protect, the times and days. If it's multi-days where you're making, money for your charity. Here's a customer we've worked with for several years. He did have a rain date. And it's important to know that I was talking to a group yesterday up north of Atlanta, and even though they have a rain date and they've been hurt before, the rain dates usually aren't as well attended. So in this example, Pinnacle, they had a rain date. They got paid out $25,000. As you can see, they went ahead and they bought rain insurance for the rain date as well. Here's some of our partners that we work with, several of the professional sections. PGA Magazine, I've done a lot of NFL charity events for them. PGA Reach. On the PGA Tour side, the Travelers, I've worked with them for a lot of years, and the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. This will be year 5 with them. Folds of Honor, I write for different groups across the country for Folds. Buffalo Group does our marketing, and obviously Perfect Golf, you're in great hands with Josh and their team. So as we go through some of our testimonials here, it's like Josh said, if you are getting an upgrade, whether it's the Birdie Package, Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace, you get a certain amount of weather protection, but it's only between 10 and 2, and the threshold is 0.5. So it's a very small amount that they have embedded in your upgrade. So usually what's happening is the thousands of events that get the upgrades, they call me because they'll need more than what's being provided. So keep that in mind, that your full day, if you are part of this group on any level, that if you need more protection, that please reach out to me, and then I can price your whole day for more hours and offer you different thresholds. So Josh, as we look to wrap up, here's my information. Again, a big group today, but are there any questions I can help with?
Thanks for all that, Eric. Yeah, a few, and let me mention one other thing too that I forgot to mention at the beginning. That event cancellation insurance is certainly an option for some events. Historically, we've found that it works in some cases, but it can be a little bit tedious, especially for somebody that might be only doing one event a year. So we found this as a really great alternative to event cancellation insurance. Just thought I would throw that out. But I did have a couple of chat questions. I will rephrase here. So Eric, maybe cover a little bit just how pricing impacts when they buy it, and when they have to make that decision, and does it help them if they buy it, sooner in advance?
Yeah, great questions. Thanks, Josh. So we understand that sometimes events have to wait and you have to raise the funds to pay the premium of the weather insurance. If I were to price your event today and your event's in September, you have a 45-day lock on the pricing. Typically, the pricing won't change that much, but we do encourage you to buy sooner than later. As an average, I would say that can it go up or down? Yes, but we favor that you buy it in advance. And then the last day to bind coverage before your event is 15 days. That's so you can't cherry pick the forecast. And if that 15th day falls on a Friday or on a Saturday or Sunday, you must buy it on the Friday before. It's very simple to bind. We do all the work. We send you an insurance application. Once you DocuSign it, it comes back to us. I'll send you the invoice with a portal link. You can pay for it on your credit card, and then you're bound, and you get the formal policy. I can do it, in a few minutes. It's very seamless and very easy to transact.
Eric, one other question. I think your presentation is really getting good here. And this is why I was bringing up the event cancellation insurance. So the question basically is, what do they need to send to you if it rains?
Yep, get that question a lot. Great question. So the beauty of this is that you don't need to do anything, the customer. So what happens is after every event, whether it's perfectly sunny, there's a trace of rain, or there's a lot of rain. If there's a triggering event, you, the customer, are going to get an expiration report. Every customer gets an expiration report, even if it's zero. We send it to you, showing you the hourly amounts on the hour within the hours that you bought. And if it does trigger, our WeatherWorks sends it to our data analysts and our meteorologists to check the data, make sure everything is clean and perfect. And then if there's a triggering event, we're sending you a check in the mail within days. So we do all that work for you. So usually people email me and say, Eric, we had rain. And I said, yep. And as soon as we look at it, we're going to be sending the expiration report. So we do all that for you, the customer.
Yeah, I'd add to that, Eric, even easier if you've got a Perfect Golf Event website where you're accepting registrations, those insurance proceeds may just get added to your funds available in your event, and then you could use it to pay expenses from your dashboard. So, Eric, I think we did a great job of covering everything. I don't see any raised hands, and really appreciate everybody taking some time. And Eric, appreciate your time and great presentation as always. And I'll let you say goodbye. We'll be getting out an email here in maybe about 30 minutes. As soon as YouTube gets the video converted, we'll get that out and everybody can share it with their colleagues.
Thanks, Josh. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Super excited to meet all of you. My information is there. Email me, text me, call me. I'd love to price up your event in more detail. Thank you again for attending, and I hope everyone has a great day. Speak with you soon. Thanks.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.